Another convincing victory by the Springboks. Welcome back to The Verdict. It is London calling for the last game of the Casalaga Rugby Championship. A very convincing victory by the Boks. Also the All Blacks looking good against Australia. But there's one round left. South Africa versus Argentina in the UK, with the Europeans still on a high with their victory in the Ryder Cup. And where the Americans showed us how not to behave when you are at a sporting event. Durban was fantastic. What a vibe, what a performance. I'm joined by Shimmy and Flecky because Skalk decided that he would rather go and play a little bit of golf in Scotland. Shimmy? That performance?
Look, a great weekend of sports. I can't do much at the moment. So the Ryder Cup, the Springboks, the All Blacks with the Bledisloe. I thought maybe Australia could do something there. They couldn't. And then Man United lost and Arsenal won. And the Stormers won also. So a good weekend of sport all around. But the Boks performance, it was a special performance. Look, we'll talk about individuals later on, but a 67-point victory in a test match is always something you look forward to. I think everybody that walked out that stadium would have enjoyed that performance, John. They would have walked out there thinking, Jeebus, what a nice game. First half was a bit weird and a bit edgy, but I think they would have walked out to there satisfied. You could see the party atmosphere in Durban. And what it means though. So we march on to Twickenham. Hopefully we can wrap it up there. But as a Springbok performance, there's always been question marks around the Springboks, whether they can put teams away. You know, Wallace knew they could win though, but whether they can run teams ragged off their feet, and they've done it 2 weekends in a row.
It's called Allianz Stadium.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Twickenham.
Well, there goes another sponsor. Sorry, guys.
No, I don't think we'll ever call it Allianz, right?
Yeah.
It'll remain Twickenham forever.
Yeah.
But how was, Rob, how was that performance? Did you see that coming, or was it kind of, you knew that they could do that?
Yeah, John, I did actually. I wasn't on the show to give my prediction on this one because I got the last one badly.
Yeah, you lost me money.
I lost you money. But John, it was always on the cards. I think a lot of people felt that it would be a close performance. With the likes of Argentina performing so well against Australia, and it was always felt like it was going to be a close game, especially if they got some set piece dominance and some strike plays going. But overall, I mean, the Boks performance, if they got it right physically, if they got the Tony ball going right, then it was going to be a dominant.
And sometimes just individual brilliance, right?
Yeah.
Well, exactly. The individual brilliance, came through, with Sacha and a few others. But I think the overall performance from the Boks was a complete performance.
Okay, guys, because you mentioned the betting, apparently now, Flick, you said you predicted this, but all the facts that we have is that your predictions aren't that good. Last week we did say Shimmy and Skull quit. Well, I have to put my betting
You
cap
said
on.
15 between 8 and 14.
8 and 14. You went between 8 and 14. I went between 1 and 7 because the odds were good.
Yeah.
I went more than 8.
Did you?
Just privately.
Okay.
But more than 8 is quite a variable though.
Yeah.
You got to give us another.
irrelevant.
Well, I got it right.
Because it's like, say, I went
It's
between 8 and
irrelevant,
100.
yeah.
I got it right this time. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Did you just go for a Boks victory? Or
By more than 8.
by more than 8? Okay. So we didn't get our bets. We went for a margin of 1 to 7, and you and Scala went 8 to 14. We didn't get that right. I think we were confident in that the Boks would win, but a margin like that, I didn't see that coming.
No, and it would have been hard to see. Remember the big question was how did they replicate the energy from
Yeah.
the All Black performance? How did they get that second half of the All Black performance again this weekend? And you got to give it to the management team, the ability to get a team going, to get them emotionally right, in the right place to deliver again. Because the reality is the ability is there, the performance is there. It's whether to get the guys mentally ready to throw out a performance like that. And it's amazing to back it up, to get that level of consistency in performance. Is something that you got to give to the management team and the coaches that they manage, and the players also to replicate that also.
I think also, Shim, you got to give credit to the Argentinians in the build-up to this game, because they've actually played phenomenal rugby. And they're a serious threat.
Yeah.
And they're tough, whatever. But if the Boks got it right physically, set piece, the physical dominance right, then we always knew we would run away with it.
Yeah. So what we didn't get right was our predictions.
We got the win right.
Yes, we did. But money-wise, we're down. So
how bad am I?
The two of us are we on 1,400 rand. Sculler's down to 980 rand. So we're still winning. Okay, guys.
Good luck buying beers overseas, boy.
Yeah, no, good luck. He probably gets everything for free. Let's get into
cheers.
the actual game and just the analysis of that. The first 30 minutes was like a dour, 30 minutes of high error rate. Neither of the two teams being able to get their strategy, across on the opposing team. Every time there was a little bit of momentum, then it's a mistake again. Our strategy would have been, in my view, set face dominance, replicate what you did from a kicking plan point of view, what we did in New Zealand, and then play from there. We didn't get that right. And what I'm showcasing here now is, so we have the dominance. First scrum though, he says use it, and we don't get the penalty.
Yeah, I don't agree with that call. The ref, it's a contest, and the ref's got to allow teams to scrum. And I think the message from the Springbok management would have been, listen, give us a chance to scrum.
Yeah.
And that's it. That use it call came too early. That's a clear penalty. One weakness the Argentinians do have, ironically, is their scrum.
Yeah.
And they tied 5, actually. Look, Montoya is a good player. He's a phenomenal player. But the rest, between 1, 3, 4, and 5, I'm not sure that's probably the one weak link that is in this team.
Fairness to Angus Gardner, he did give the reset, and then we did get the penalty from the reset. You look at that picture over there, elbow goes down, penalty conceded. We have a bit of a go, but immediately we try and look to get the ball in that outside channels in the space that's available there.
Yeah, it certainly was a plan. I mean, you can see Sacha, in terms of the kicking game, Sacha brought something different, right?
Yeah.
A lot of those cross kicks, looking for those opportunities, that was obviously part of the analysis that maybe, the Argentinians get nice and tight from set piece and in general play. But it was something you'll see through the clips how he exposed them massively.
Do you adjust then? If let's say he does it 3 times in a row, does the defense adjust then, John? If you guys are backline players, do you realize, okay, look, this guy's going to put that cross kick over, stand a little deeper, then Sacha sees a different picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then the hole might be in the midfield, so you try and manipulate the defense the whole time.
And it's always like, when I was playing on the wing, it's kind of showing different pictures.
Yeah.
So, with your setup, kind of you go back, you stay really deep, but then when the ball gets fed, you know that you're going to end up in the line and really going tight. So it's being able to trying to manipulate the attack as well with where you position yourself and where you end up. But then it's also your relationship with a 13 and him understanding that, okay, I might not see you there now, but I know that you will be there. You'll be coming later or whatever.
Yeah.
In this incident, though, you can see it's clear it's penalty advantage.
Yeah.
And the mindset of the Argentinians is shut down the space because they know South Africa.
Kill it straight away, yeah.
And they're trying to kill it straight away. So it's actually, brilliant to get
So Fleck,
find that space.
the kicking game, we were so good in New Zealand. We see for success with the kicking game, the execution needs to be good of the kick and then also the contesting.
Yep.
We were, putting a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, I felt a pressure at the breakdown on their 9 was exceptional.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to take that, right? And we've got to be in a better position to attack, and we get the knock-on advantage. But what Durban and all the forwards did at breakdown time, and, we call it wrecking ball, and they just disrupt it. They lose a bit of shape, in terms of their kick chase and also in terms of their attacking options. But every single kick from the Argentinian line landed up being short, which allowed us to then, compete better.
But in a way, rather short than too long.
Yes, well, yeah, for the Argentinians' sake, but we want to be putting them under immense pressure so they can't get, that distance and that height on the ball. So it makes it easier for us to be able to also, get it. But yeah, you want to have time onto the ball, but that pressure puts that 9, he's kicking backwards basically.
I think that's one of the Locks KPIs, I think, in the Springbok setup in terms of putting pressure.
Yeah.
You saw it in the All Black game on Finlay Christie, how Eben was waiting, because sometimes he got the tendency to scrape the ball back with his hand. Then there's no rack, then you can go. So it's managing the ref first saying, hold back, knowing when the triggers are. So you'd have watched that all week saying, listen, let me apply pressure. But it's also key, the Argentinians are good in the air. I think our kicking game stemmed from the fact that All Blacks got exposed in the air from Argentina. So it was always good. I thought it was always going to be a battle in the air. We weren't going to get our own way in terms of the aerial battle because Argentina also in there are pretty handy.
These two teams, the best teams in world rugby in terms of contesting kicks, and then apparently quite a big drop to the third position team. So Jaco Paper actually gave me those stats. So it's and again, what I wanted to show there is that we might not take it as cleanly as what we did in New Zealand towards the latter end of the game. Yes, we did. But being able to get the scrap still, you're getting the ball back.
But John, also, they weren't kicking on their terms, right? That's my point, is that we're putting that 9 under pressure. Now they're going to change their plan.
He bailed out.
So then they start kicking more of 10. And 15, which actually plays into our hands. Now we're putting them under massive pressure. And you'll see that in the first half, the Argentinians were doing lots of little passes and trying to get the ball to the wide channels, and they couldn't because that pressure that was coming, either through our kick chase or our breakdown pressure, put their whole kicking game under a massive heat.
Because also playing in Durban, the ball doesn't travel that far. You want to be kicking the contestables and competing to get the ball back. If you start kicking long, the ball doesn't travel that far, so your attacking opportunity for the opposition is so much easier. Okay, strategy-wise, back to the box. Put pressure on their kicking game, contest, win the scraps. If you don't, they knock on, you get a scrum. Okay? That's exactly what happened here. But where it failed a little bit at times for us is we now get the scrum, and this time around, we concede the penalty.
Yeah.
What went wrong here, Shim?
Look, the question was always getting rid of the scrums, whether we can do it without Ox or not. I mean, Ox is a phenomenal scrummer. But because of our aggressive nature in terms of scrum, sometimes you get a slip or someone going too early. There's always there. But at least we're trying to set the thing in there. It's the shoulders, obviously the knees going down early on the hit, on the engagement. But you're trying to get an aggressive hit. You're trying to win that hit to get that 30 centimeters or whatever it is, or that inch forward. Sometimes, you might not get the timing right, or you might not hold your balance, and it happens though. But the reality is our mindset is to scrum, to apply pressure. Sometimes it doesn't work against you.
They're in survival mode.
Yeah, exactly. They're in survival mode there.
We see the replay. Is it fair? What do you change? Because I mean, so many times we see that happening, and then they just reset.
Yeah, look, the loose head also, they could be guilty on the hit of just hinging, taking the pressure and going straight down. Thomas du Toit, what he can do is just keep a shape and maybe chase his leg slightly.
Okay.
If it makes sense.
Yeah. It does make sense.
Okay.
I'm very well equipped with my scrumming knowledge these days after spending time with you. Same thing here. Deep kick. Again, deep kick, good chase, put them under pressure. They deep in their own 22 and put pressure on the
Look,
line.
have a look at Eben there. Look what he's doing. He's just watching that ball the whole time. And that pressure, goes a little bit early there, so he realizes he needs to bail out. But the awareness there.
But Shim, it's the work from the prop, the loose head prop of ours.
On top of the rack.
Yeah.
A one feinter.
The whole time, just putting that pressure on that rack. They have to add 1 or 2 numbers to that. That means there's less chases in the line. That's why there's created space for Pieter-Steph.
Yeah, exactly.
So that hard work at the breakdown is creating
So it holds
space.
everyone in there, yeah.
Exactly.
That creates the space. They kick
100%.
too long. Damien's got time to actually beat the first defender, and then we kind of get into our shape. But shape never happened for us.
No.
In the first 30 minutes of the game. The other element that I spoke about was the lineouts. Argentina, the most successful lineout in the comp this year, but we did brilliantly in terms of competing, Shimmy.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement in the lineup, but you got to look at Eben there. Eben, in terms of his roaming in the front, he can cover front, middle front by himself because he makes a late switch and he keeps moving. So if you look at him there again, moving around the whole time. Now, what Argentina needed was a bailout call. So if he moves off the pod, you shout hit or whatever color, whatever it is, just to make that front pod go up and go there. But because Eben's moving, so he sits next to the guy, you realize he's not going to make the call here because I'm here. So chances are the call's at the back, or they might spin again to the front. So as soon as they've made the call, Eben then slides to the back. But they should have a bailout here to a flecky jump up. They didn't have that at the moment. So they moved a lot. So then it's easy to watch. All you have to do is watch there. If there's 3 guys, you go up. If there's 2 guys, they're not going to go up. But it takes time and experience to do that. Eben's probably the best in terms of front ball contesting.
And then the one-man lift, you can
you can do the one man as a bailout. So one-man lift, you go up. They do it quite well with Pieter-Steph a lot of the time.
So Shim, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we spoke about the speed of movement that was lacking in our lineout. And Scala spoke a little bit about there, even the speed there.
Yeah, brilliant.
Between him and Nokia,
they're working well together.
Fast off the ground, getting up early, putting that pressure on.
Well,
So again, just the first 30 minutes, the strategy of the two teams, Argentina, again, they would want to get into the 22. They have their lineout that's been so successful, and then start applying pressure. But every time they got into the 22, we were able to compete. We got the ball back. Same happened here. So you get the ball back. They eventually concede a penalty, easy exit for us. From there, we kick it out. We're back in their half again.
Yeah.
But as the game in the 30 minutes went on, we get this line out now again. Sacha breaks the 10 before the line out is over. We concede a penalty again.
Yeah.
Argentina gets back in our half. And that was kind of the ding-dong battle that we saw. We're not going to see the that line out. That was kind of the ding-dong battle that we had in the first 30 minutes where, yes, you got the penalties, but you never got into an attacking shape. Every time we got into the 22 with an opportunity, or Argentina got in, we made a mistake again and then was back the other way.
Yeah.
It was a bizarre first 30 minutes to the game.
You never backed up positive outcomes. So it was one positive penalty, kick it out, negative.
Yeah.
You let then the opposition get a positive outcome from that. Yeah. They can't do anything built from there. Argentina throw the line out over the top. So it was like negative, positive the whole time. So that's why the game lacked rhythm. You're sort of sitting there at halftime thinking, what the hell is going on here? And I think that was the nature of the first half.
It was the nature of the first half. We were thinking, what the hell is going on? What we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, things changed after the first 30 minutes. And we'll have a look at the tries being scored.
Cody from Paul has sold multiple vehicles to WeBuy Cars. Suspicious? I think so.
Is that a crime?
No. Where are you getting the cars?
I buy them and I sell them at the spot like a normal person.
Okay.
No, man, I'm just an accounting student. I know a good deal when I see one.
That's Excel meant. What's more stressful, tax season or selling a car at WeBuy Cars?
Tax season, obviously.
WeBuy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Okay, guys, so the first 28 to 30 minutes, not a lot happening, playing in between the two 22s. But then, yes, it was a disallowed try, but this was the first time that we could get into a bit of our attacking shape, Flecky, and we see the latter part of the attacking set.
Yep. So, Jean, for me, and there's going to be a few clips about our attack, but it's what's happening on the front line that's impressed me the most about the Springbok attack at the moment, or Tony ball, whatever you want it. It's speed over shape. So there again, Durban is running onto the boards, run, catch, run. He's not waiting for shape. Pieter-Steph hasn't slowed that ball down at the breakdown. Prior to that, the build-up to that, to go into the edge, is passing forwards with Norkie, passing, on the front line. We loaded on the front line. And that's been the most impressive part of this Tony ball. And we'll speak about it later. But, this is obviously a professional foul, and this should be a yellow card incident. I mean, they couldn't give the try, obviously, because, the build-up to it. But that, for me, is a professional foul and a yellow card.
But it's also, my wife actually asked the same question. Why it's a penalty? Why didn't they give the try and play advantage? But remember, it's still a knock-on from Ryan.
Yeah.
That's what initially I thought. I thought, look, penalty advantage, play on, try, scored, let the try stand. But again, cynical player.
And it was, again, I think we need to give credit here to the officiating group, because Angus Gardner's first kind of feeling was, okay, it's a knock-on, you give the scrum. Then eventually with the ARs, they kind of said, well, yes, he comes from an onside position.
But he's kicked the ball out of their hands.
And then he can play the ball if it's not in someone's hands. You can never kick the ball out of someone's hands, and that's the penalty. The decision here to not take the 3 points.
Yeah, it's always a debate. Look, I don't know. Look, sometimes the guys feel the momentum on there, or they're saying, listen here, guys, these guys in 5-meter lineouts, they've only managed to, stop so many more. So a lot of homework's done before those decisions are made. In terms of listening, there is a certain weakness there. You consider they would have seen the All Blacks scoring those mauling tries against Argentina, and they probably would have decided, listen here, Argentina can't stop Moors off the 5-meter. Let's give it a go.
And it's also, Flecky, the like you said, Shimmy, the feeling you get, on the back of getting their first attacking set going, getting over the line, disallowed.
A bit of momentum, bit of belief, confidence growing within the group. What I like about South Africa at the moment is the variation that they're bringing to the 5-meter lineouts.
Before you actually get to that, and just Sacha's kick, and that's why I put it in.
Brilliant.
There. So
5
many
meter.
times, you know, you kick it from there and you're 7 to 10 meters out, and it's a massive difference between that and getting it on the 5 and being able to only go the 5 meters. The line out.
Well said. Look at Bourne Fenter at the front there. Once that base is set, his shoulders are through, then it's the only way you stop that is a penalty. There's no other way. If you don't disrupt the base no more, then there's no way. You either get that thing going sideways or you go through them. But they can't be that comfortable. They Bourne Fenter's through, I think, was it Urban? No, Urban, no, it was Ron caught the ball.
Yeah.
I think Urban might have been behind him. That back supporter, once he's set and solid, it's impossible to stop with the drivers and everyone, the supporters. It's an Urban gets through, look at that, covers his shoulder, covers his ribs, Bourne Fenter in.
Could be seen as double banking there by one, but
Nah, that's fine, I think. Look, it's easy. That thing is set nicely. Then the momentum takes it over.
it's an outstanding try. But for me, it's the variation that they're bringing that's putting the opposition in two minds now. You know, whether to stay down and hit early, or do you have to defend the slide out the back, or front move. That's what's making South Africa so difficult to play against at the moment.
Yeah, because in the past it was always like
It's guaranteed
8 out of 10 times you're mauling with no variation. When now,
we caught teams with the maul initially, then teams figure you out.
Yeah.
Listen, these guys have at 90% of their mauls, just practice stopping mauls. All of a sudden you do a slider.
The All Blacks did against us at Eden Park. They did stop our maul.
Yeah, you do a slider, you do something else. So the variation, the creativity and the innovation certainly keeps the forward or the contesting coach busy.
100%.
So you talk about figuring it out. Do you think that Cheslin Kolbe has figured out what he did here? Because
we were all surprised.
I think this is just a bizarre moment in rugby.
Training ground error.
I think once he kicked it, he realized, oh damn.
you know the thing is, John, you watching it.
No, I didn't mean to. I didn't.
Try sport. But even when he kicked, you're sort of watching on TV, you think, okay, because you're looking a step ahead now, it's going to be a dropout or whatever it is. So here we go, the guys are getting ready. So you almost lose concentration yourself at home.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the try's been awarded. You're like, okay, cool, let's go back and see, did he really drop kick it? Did it go over the 5, etc., which it did.
So this...
You won't see this again.
This is what you call a brain fart.
Yeah.
Okay? And the Cheslin Kolbe, and I would go do this into camera, has done the most amazing, incredible things for South African rugby. Moments of brilliance. This was not one of them.
No, but I can see what he's doing. He's just trying to get the ball back to the midfield.
He wants to kick it to Damien, and then from there you could potentially take it quick or whatever. But the fact that he drop kicked it, and not just kick it normally, means that you restarted the game. And unfortunately, it was the right call from the referee. And thank goodness we didn't lose this game by less than 7 because that would have been, we would not have been laughing about it. In a way, it kind of sparked the Boks to just play as well. That space.
Where is the fullback? Where's the wing? There's the wing there. How come the fullback was so far across there? Yeah.
That's the fly off.
But I couldn't figure out how come there's so much kick space there.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes once you're doing those transitions in the kicking game, your backfield does get confused. You leave one behind, by mistake, and that's exactly what's happened. The 15 has obviously chased that 10's kick, and he's disappeared, and with both wings gone up, that's exposed it's a poor error from Argentina.
But again, I would like to say the ability to identify the space
100%.
and then the execution of getting the ball into space.
And
that is, I think, what we need to celebrate. Yeah, not even talking about the speed from both those players. And at pace, the pickup, brilliant.
Yeah. That's proper skill, Jean. To see the space, to execute that flat kick, rolling kick onto grass, and then have the pace to back it up and the skill set to pick this ball up at pace.
Yeah. And just tell Kanan, no, I've got this.
I've got
this. This one's mine.
But it's a poor error from Argentina. Yeah. Usually if your 15 chases and your wings are up, then your 9 needs to drop. He didn't have a good game, and he's an exceptional rugby player. But that is just poor from Argentina.
But were they worried about, obviously worried about the counter-attack? That's why they went hardline, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
Just-
I
yeah,
mean,
but-
inexcusable.
Yeah.
You know, to have that.
Then the
that
fullback should
amount
have
of
just come
space.
across, more across than the other wing should have dropped, isn't it?
We take the lead, a couple of minutes left, and then penalty conceded. They get close to our goal line, and fantastic execution by Argentina as well.
Oh, smart. That's trying to beat the safety.
Yeah.
So because you're on the ground, the opposition or the Springboks don't have time to hit it towards the side because they're actually giving them the front ball. So with the no jump then, it actually makes your base, I mentioned the base, it makes it a lot more solid and stronger. So that is one way to get around the safety. I think the player at the front, I'm not sure, I think it was Buenfent or whatever, should have his hands up like that. So to try to disrupt the throw, just try to get his hand across there.
We will
But
see.
smart from Argentina.
We'll see the replay again. Why I just paused it here is just to have a look at the time. So try scored, 6 seconds left. Well, another 2 seconds before he actually blows his whistle. There we see. Well, he says he blows his whistle. He says held up. The AR comes in, and then they look at the actual infringement. But important to remember, still time on the clock. We'll see the replay now, Shimmy, and again, a couple of things to take into account. One, Malcolm Marx going in from the side, yes, but then also collapsing the maul, as we see here. So he goes out, now he goes back in
from the side, and that's the ball though.
from the side. Then he starts, he's still in the field of play.
Yeah.
He collapses it.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Penalty try, yellow card.
Yes. Good decision.
Right decision.
Right decision. This is when I thought we were in trouble here, but good on Sacha though. I think he went to the referee and said, look.
And we'll see it now, actually on screen, where, so again, from the side, where Sacha goes up to the referee, tells him, okay, the try was scored, the infringement was made, whistle was blown with 4 seconds left. The fact that it's a penalty try means, note, there he tells him. There's still a kick off, 4 seconds
Such a young
left.
kid to
To see
realize that.
Yes. Because that made a massive difference going into half-time.
100%.
Yeah.
So because it's a penalty try, you don't kick a goal, no time wasted, so you need to have the restart.
And how's the mindset of the Springboks now to kick short,
Brilliant.
to get the ball back?
Short, get the ball back, and play.
It was that Moody that knocked it back, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, John, for such a young kid in a key position to go up to the referee amongst other leaders like Eben and Sia and make that call is big.
And I think, and we'll speak a little bit more about Sacha later, but I think that it is one of the benefits that you have with it, because he's such a confident young kid, and that he can do things like that can give you the benefit of the doubt, or you can win the big moments.
Yeah.
And I suppose the risk for him is that you just go a little bit too far over the top in terms of that.
Yeah, see, John, here for me is this Tony ball coming into effect where everyone is covering, position. There's no set sort of shape, or, they've got obviously a 1-6-1 or 1-4-2-1, and you see the forwards are there, but everything is looking to go on the front line, on fast ball, speed over shape, lots of little tips from forwards, running into space, getting single hits, which means it's fast ball. And, it's just exceptional attack from the Springboks. Like there, Nokia to Pieter-Steph. Pieter-Steph can now roam a lot more.
What a carry.
He wasn't in the wide channels against the All Blacks at Eden Park, but the last 2 games he has. And I believe that's down to the breakdown and because of Vissa's inclusion into the side. He can be roaming free now. But, now they show patience. They've earned the right to get to that 5-meter line. Again, against the All Blacks at Eden Park, they didn't show any patience, remember? And we lost opportunities. But this is what the future of Springbok rugby is looking like. Just bruising forwards, passing on the front line, dominating physically with these electric backs.
Yeah, it's a combination, and also, talk about the Pieter-Steph, a guy like Ron Nokia, his work rate, the amount of racks. There's always a couple of unsung guys that you just see, you don't see a lot of, but they're at the bottom of every rack. They're chasing back, they're in the chase line, they're working hard off the ball, they've got their contributions with the ball. So everyone's working, and Flecky, I mean, the guys are attacking together as one unit. 100%. It's not the forwards doing the one thing, then the backs come in. It's actually everyone nice and connected, working together beautifully.
Nice step, nice acceleration, handoff, try.
Fantastic finish.
Very similar to Damian Willems's try against New Zealand.
Yep.
You speak about Nokia. How many times have we seen him, making a pass, a tip on? So the skill set of our tight five is just increasing as well. So now it's not just about the brutality of a carry. It's about
So,
looking
Jean,
after
you
those.
think about
skills
how
as
New
well.
Zealand have always faced up against us in the past. We've always had this massive pack that they've played against. And they've always said, look, we need to stop them at source, contest their line, not stop their mauls, whatever the case may be. But now in the New Zealanders always knew, as soon as we get passing forwards who can create space, create single hits, South Africa will be a completely different team.
Yeah.
And that's what Tony has brought to the South African setup, passing skilled forwards who get us over the advantage line.
Well, that was the first half, and suddenly we could go into the break leading. The way we started the second half, you talk about the future of South African rugby. This is what it'll look like.
But again, pressure on the kicker there.
Everything now suddenly more time. Damian Willems, a fantastic take out the air. Play what's in front of you.
Yeah,
the pick and go
100%.
from Pieter-Steph.
Everything on the front line, staying on top of the defence.
Clean ball.
Now they narrow.
Out
create
the back.
space.
That's perfect. The way he ran onto it also.
But everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
The pick and go from Pieter-Steph.
Yeah.
The carry from Jasper Visser. The cleaners on every single rack. The first guy that's there being able to loosen up the ball. Then the pass out the back. The call for that. The execution of the kick. Cheslin being there, keeping his width.
So
Running
normally,
on.
John, we would have trucked that up. That pass behind to Sacha.
Yeah.
We would
play
have just
that
carried
guy.
it up and then slow ball, and then we have to start again. That is just playing what you see. And that allows Sacha to play the game that he wants to play.
Time, space.
Yeah.
But also the depth, though. Also to get that time. I mean, that kick was perfect. It hangs a little bit.
Yeah.
He slows down a bit. The fact that he caught it at pace and could run it in, it's impressive.
Another thing that's impressive, and I think you could so easily watch a game like this and just look at the attacking tries, the way that we played with ball in hand. What was really pleasing for me to see was, and I mean, in this game, we didn't see too much of a Damien Delendi and Kanan Moody with ball in hand. And it's also part of the, or due to the individual brilliance of a Sacha. But the defensive effort, we never saw Argentina getting on the outside, playing those plays the loopy plays that they did in the previous game. And this is just a great example where Kanan makes a fantastic read, goes out, is decisive, and stops the attack immediately from the first phase.
Yeah, John, and defending in the 13 position is the hardest defensive position on the field. But in the last 2 games, he's been phenomenal in that. And he shut down every single attack that potentially could go to width. That's his best position, in my opinion.
I mean, obviously, you'd like to see
Someone
a
up
little
with
bit
him.
of a better picture. Just Cheslin up as well. It would be probably Damien on his inside up as well, because if he gets the ball away, so obviously the idea
He's
is
troubling out wide.
is that guy Carreras coming short, and then Albanor's out the back, and then suddenly Carreras fixes Cheslin, the ball out the back to him, they get on the outside. But decisive.
Yes, which they weren't at
Boom.
Eden Park, remember.
Yeah.
There was a check system in place at Eden Park, which gave the All Blacks some space. That's the way the old Springboks team used to defend under Ninabe. And hopefully we'll see more of that.
So great defense, and everything just coming together. Now, the reason I just played this on is that after the yellow card in the 39th minute, we scored 2 tries. 14 points.
With the yellow.
14 points with 14 men on the field. And the first scrum, so we only had to make this sub, 6 minutes into the yellow card.
But also, a lot of it comes down to planning. Look, scenario planning. What happens if this guy gets a yellow? How do you work here? Who moves into this? It's all planned, pre-planned. So the players will get, one thing they do well is that their processes are so good that no one's surprised with what happens. It's general sort of stuff with a coaching team. If the scrum half gets sent off, does the wing cover 9?
Yeah.
If a prop gets sent off, which loose forward goes sent off the first scrum? Do we hold on as long as possible? So look, the planning was spot on though, but the ability, I think the try before half time, and then it's 3 tries. Yeah, well, 2 tries, sorry. So it's fantastic there.
And then the more we grew into the game, obviously we had a 9-point lead. Yeah, it just seemed like the game plan, became better from our point of view. We look at, again, Damien Willems here, the pressure there. But just look at this take again.
Commits to it.
That's his best position for me. I know we discussed him being a 12, but for me,
You
he
reckon
dominates
15?
the air because he can pop up anywhere on the field. John.
Yeah.
He's not restricted.
First
to
receiver
being a
down the
12.
blind side.
Exactly. He can
Yeah.
be anywhere he wants to be. That's, for me, his best position. For me, he's the best fullback in the world.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I like him at 12.
Really?
He can go to
Yeah.
12 from 15. You know what I'm saying? He can't do the other way around.
Yeah.
So for me, 15 gives him freedom, and that's what he needs.
Well, he is a talent, a fantastic player, and wherever you play him, he needs to be in the starting 15.
That's
There's
a
the
variation.
variation,
Yeah.
There we go. You can score off mauls, you can score off trick plays, but we can score also just going through the phases.
I like what the 9 does, what Reinach does, because he keeps the 2 defenders around the rack. It's hard though. You just need one mistake where one guy slides off or one guy comes too early with a short runner, with a sniper around the back that makes it difficult to thingy. So the running 9, especially in the 22-meter era, makes it difficult when you've got big guys running onto the ball.
Very difficult to defend. And this is just
It's crazy.
That's a dummy.
That's a problem.
That's what he
We've seen
called
that
a dummy.
before, though. It was the Stormers game once, and the Barbarians.
So just have he
That's
has
wild.
he has like a quick peek just before he. Actually, let me. So have a look here. Check.
Oh,
You see how he has a quick look at the pillars there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's premeditated. He was never going to pass there.
Yeah.
But John, again, he's allowed to do this because
Yeah.
going forward.
Yeah.
He's got fast ball to play with. He can do whatever he wants with that. Eden Park, Grant Williams wasn't able to do this because the All Blacks disrupted our breakdown. But there, his forwards are winning collisions, get him go forward. I mean, that's wild. I mean, that's a wild try.
And the last clip we'll quickly look at before we go into the break is this one, and maybe let's finish this segment on it. Is Sacha, because again the ability to see the space and execute, plus making the decision to do this, because this is quite a ludicrous kind of choice of what to do in this position. I mean, a couple of years ago, you'd never see this from it. So again, there.
So John, for me, I mean, we spoke about pre, is that, you've been part of Rassie's teams, all 3 of us have. And 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, he's going to tell Sacha here to take the space, go forward and kick in front of your forwards. That's the safe option.
Or just make the pass infield to
Correct.
was it Damien there, and he trucks it up, or he kicks
100%.
it up. Whatever.
And 98% of the coaches in the world would agree with that play.
Decision making up.
But this guy has just shown some unbelievable talent and spatial awareness and confidence to kick it across field, which is probably the most dangerous kick.
Because that thing goes wrong. It's a try the other side.
It's a try
It
the
is.
other way.
It is. But being able to take the risk and backing your skill set.
Awesome.
I want to add as well, the fact that this guy, Cheslin Kolbe, we spoke about, drops back, providing that option and keeping that option open. It means that these guys are starting to be so in sync in the way that they want to play. It is not just about them trucking back and he walks back to hopefully get the ball in the 3rd or 4th phase.
Yeah.
It's going back because that keeping the option open.
But look at Willems. He's got his hands up in the air, actually indicating for the kick to go up. So they're not all in sync. Check, he's calling for the up and under.
Is that a look?
That's a
That's sure.
Perfect kick. Yeah, this would have been an unbelievable try.
But that's the difference now of the Springboks of old. You wouldn't have been allowed to do that. Now you can. And that's why this guy, Sacha, is going to dominate world rugby going forward. Because he's got a platform to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And that is amazing. And like you say, the rest of the players are starting to get in sync with him.
But there's certain things you got to tick. Fast ball,
Yep.
fast breakdown,
Yep.
makes the scrum half's lives a lot easier. The forwards coming onto the ball a lot easier. We've got big men with skill that opens up weak shoulders. You can go forward again. Our guys are staying in the gain line, they're going forward. And in the wings, then it's a party in the back there.
Big time.
Then that's the thing. You've got a fluff that takes the ball flat. You can explode also. He's quick with good feet. With the rest of the back line, the fullback that can cover from midfield rucks can come to 10 as a first receiver is just as dangerous as the other guy at 10. So it's hard. How do you stop it? You know, you got a strong scrum, a good line out, a good maul. You got variation. You got innovation, a good kicking game. It must be and depth, which we haven't spoken about.
You seem excited, Shimmy.
No, I'm getting going now. I'm getting going.
Okay. The last 20 minutes of the game, still, you know, the Boks totally dominating, and I thought, you know, Manie van den Berg, when he came on, he really changed it up as well, sped up the game.
See, JDV, there's that midfield ruck where thing is the general there.
Yep.
Damien Villiers.
He's passing on the front line, keeping the ball alive. That's key.
Yeah.
Single hits. I mean, that's an outstanding try.
And each guy, irrelevant of the number on his back, just
That's
doing the job in front of him.
Exactly.
I then think it's coming. I mean, there's Villiers again, another threat. See how edge forward doing the job. Look at that.
Loose forwards roaming.
Loose forwards roaming. Even
Villiers cleaning, one man clean.
Yeah.
The hybrid.
I mean, look how flat he takes us. Flat on the line.
That's
and because he's such a big guy, 2 defenders actually commit to him. You could have even played the tip. Just go back there a little bit, John. Okay, look, he could have played the tip there.
Yeah.
Is that Wilco?
Wilco, yeah.
Yeah, Wilco was still an option.
And beautiful line by Wilco.
Yeah, great
so,
line.
You know, my thing was always in the past, we thought that we need to make long passes to get outside of the defense or to create gaps. Whereas now, you are in a 3 meter radius, 5 meter radius, where short passes congest the defense and then isolate the player and then just make the right decision.
John, the key thing is, you know, you talk about attacking shapes. So if you stop it there, just go back a little bit, sorry, just to that shape again where he's making that pass. Is that most teams have a 1-3-3-1 shape, okay, with 2 pods of 3 forward. But yeah, stop there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 in the front line. You can include Marks as the 4th.
Yeah.
Now, the key thing is that what they're doing is they're tipping on the front line and they're getting an extra pass or 2 in the front line. That means you need 4 or 5 forwards in the front line all the time so that you can secure possession or run into that space. And that is the biggest difference in South African attack at the moment. Because
you spoke about the optionality and the variation at line out, but here it's exactly the same because, yes, we went with...
That's a big word.
Yeah, it's a big word. Optionality. Let's go. Yeah.
You could have gone with, well, we went with the ball out the back, but it could have been to Wilco, and then it could be Wilco to Marks.
That's the difference.
And then it can still be Wilco to Marks to Jan Hendrik Wessels.
Correct.
You know, by again the guys just
and now the defense doesn't know who to go for.
Yeah.
But it's almost impossible unless Arke takes the ball up. They can get dominated, but no one else in that Argentinian position can make a dominant tackle.
No one.
No one can.
All single hits.
Yeah, all single hits.
All single hits. It's not where we're just bulking it up and running into double hits anymore. We are getting, and if we have one-on-one carries, normally, you know, with our big guys, you get dominant.
And sometimes, John, you'll see that the backs will join the front line. So Willems, Can and Moody, they're joining that front line with the forwards and they're running those lines, tipping. It's tough to defend.
Because now, yes,
it's tiring to defend.
In open play, you're getting dominance, your set phase is dominating, and then you bring on a guy like Manie Libbok. And I just wanted to show guys this set where if you're going forward, there's probably no one in world rugby that does it better than him. I mean, just look at the crispness of...
Look at that scrum first.
Yeah. Oh, it starts with the scrum, you're right.
Boom.
2 big centres. What a ball.
I mean, 3 passes here in the outside channel, and you've made 15 meters.
Yeah, as Shim said, it starts with the scrum. You've got your 8 picking and going. That narrows up the defence. You've got 2 of the biggest centres in world rugby running at your 10 and 12 and 13. You have to stay there. Creates a space, and with Manie on the front foot, beautiful pass. It's great rugby.
Pieter-Steph du Toit had such a solid game, and eventually getting rewarded also with a try. Ethan Hooker.
But again, John, he's allowed to roam. He wasn't allowed to roam at Eden Park. Last 2 games he can because we've sorted out the breakdown.
Yeah.
And we're going forward. Now he can pick his lane. And that's where he's deadly.
He looks so comfortable in those outside channels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's right. Also linking with the backs. I mean, they would have practiced this obviously 15 against 15 during the week, getting that rhythm right together. Look, what I've enjoyed is that rotation hasn't been used as an excuse for bad performances.
Yeah.
These guys are getting used to seeing different faces the whole time, but the process is almost the same.
Yeah.
And everyone's on the same level, you know, they're all aligned and playing beautifully together.
And even when it becomes messy, ball goes to the ground, identify the space.
The door opens, yeah.
I mean, guys, and this is a guy that comes on after the guy that he's replacing scored 3 tries.
Yeah.
And broke the record.
And broke the record for most points in a test match.
No, it's incredible. Look, they were just, you know, you almost wonder, you could see sort of where it went wrong in the first half or why it was so stop-start. But once we fixed a couple of things, got a little bit of space at the back, got front football, got quick ruck ball.
That's skill.
Yeah, that is skill there. Also just looks so bloody simple though. But
It
gee,
does,
it's
and
impressive.
it's not. And then the last try, Pieter-Steph du Toit.
This is my favorite try, actually, because the variation at the line-out, attacking a different point into the vacuum, and then the tip-on from Ruan Norki. I mean, that's Tony Ball right there for me.
So simple.
So simple. A pass on the front line.
Yeah, but it's also, you look at the clean there. Look at, is it Esterhazen? So if you go back from the ball over the top, look at the clean from Esterhazen. So many times there could be head contact or neck roll or what, a croc roll.
Because
or
it's so explosive.
It's so explosive. Look at that there. Grabs him, lifts him up safely. There it is. Nice and easy. Tip on the front, under pressure, gone. And there's probably numbers on the right-hand side also.
Plenty.
And just then a bit of a scuffle there at the end.
Argentina is going to happen.
Yeah. 62 points to 30. That's a massive score.
Yeah.
Moment of the week. The WeBuy moment of the week. If we take
Got to be
all
Sacha's
of that,
performance.
all of that, all the tries scored, who do we go with?
No, Sacha.
Sacha.
You can't ignore him.
Cannot.
Yeah, if ever there was a statement performance of a guy that's shown plenty of potential, and I like what Rassie said, you know, they've been patient with him. You know, there's times when he hasn't finished games, gone off injured. It's been a building step. Last year got the All Black game, you know, sort of shot the lights out, struggled a bit with injury towards the end of the season. Came back, it's play here, off the field, play here. But really, that is a statement performance. If ever he announced himself as a talent, that is exactly what it's. It won't happen every weekend, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Sean.
No.
It won't happen, but that is a special performance, and we've got to enjoy that.
And Flecky also the kind of, because that was an individual
Yeah.
special performance, okay? I think as a fly-off, he can still get so much better in terms of managing the game. That was just individual brilliance, and it kind of reminded you of a Dan Carter in the second test match 05 against the Lions.
Yeah.
You know, also scoring all those tries. It's you can build on so much more
No,
stuff.
Jean, that will come with time.
Yeah.
I agree with Shim. You know, the way Rassie spoke about Sacha after the game, he was careful.
Yeah.
He acknowledged it was an unbelievable
happen overnight,
performance,
yeah.
and it didn't happen, and they're managing him. But he focused on the team. You know, he kept on saying, you know, if the team performs, it allows these guys to come through. But I agree with you as well, Jean, that his management, which has been his critic, you know, part of his game, will come over time. The more and more he plays test match rugby, the better he'll become in that. But that's brilliance, that individual brilliance, those decisions that he made, the fact that he can question the ref for 5 seconds to go, cross kicks, all this stuff is the making of a generational player.
Yeah.
Generational.
And I think we've got a few within that group.
No, there's plenty.
Yeah.
Well, you think about how many guys are close to 100 caps now, 2 World Cups. We've got generational players already there. I think for me, it's you know, they'll always have comparisons, but Sacha's got to be Sacha. He's not another Dan Carter, Johnny
100%.
Wilkinson. Forget about that. He's got to create his own name, his own legacy, and he will.
Yeah.
So people, no, he's not the next Dan Carter. Dan Carter was Dan Carter. So was whoever it was before him, or whatever it is, or Johnny Wilkinson, or Larkham, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Sacha is Sacha, and that's what he's got to be, and exactly what we saw today. I think that's what's exciting.
It certainly makes it much easier when you've got a pack dominating for a fly-off.
We'll make it easy for you guys, though.
Yeah, thanks, Shimmy. We really appreciate that.
We never got space when you played that.
You're going backwards.
No, there's plenty of space on the bench. The name of the show. The name of the show is The Verdict, because I want your honest verdict on that performance from the Boks. What do you give them out of 10? Go.
I give them a 9.5 out of 10.
Sure.
Yeah, probably. Look, you can't cut out the first half.
You can't.
But also
the
60,
0.5.
yeah, that's the point. I gave them a 10 in New Zealand.
Yes.
New Zealand away from home, this time in front of our home crowd. A bit of a shaky first half, but we managed it well. I'll give a 9.7.
Jeepers, guys,
I'll go
not
9
even
point-
with 30 minutes of not so good. Okay. Let's settle on a 9 because we want them to be better. We want them to be better this weekend. What needs to change this weekend to get another result? You win the game this weekend, you win the Rugby Championship.
Look, it's Argentina will come out fighting. I think it's the kicking game, the pressure that we won't get our own way in the air, I think, against Argentina, Flecky. I think they're tight 5, the scrums, you can't fix. I remember I did the game in Bombela last year. And I asked Montoya, listen here, scrums, what you going to do now? We've been working hard. It's the same personnel. You can't fix it. It won't be fixable. You know, for me, it's probably a repeat. I think I'm going to be more generous in my betting this week. But
Okay.
I'm going to go big though. But it's a home game for South Africa.
I agree.
Okay, guys, All Blacks versus Australia this weekend. Australia certainly put up a fight, but the All Blacks just too strong.
Yeah, look, I don't know, Flicky, your thoughts. I thought some self-inflicted pain from Australia, missing touch.
40 missed tackles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40 missed tackles. I thought without Skelton and Valentini, you know, it's just,
That physicality.
yeah, the lack of physicality. So,
But John, I don't think it was a convincing performance from the All Blacks at all.
No.
I mean, they started off nicely with a good try to the edge, you know, and good hands, good backs, you know, in terms of their movement. But the overall performance wasn't good. You know, they really are battling in terms of the way they want to play. I actually can't see an actual plan in place, which I'm surprised about because, you know, Scott Robertson is an outstanding coach.
Yeah.
But they're battling.
Bowden Barrett injured this weekend. The big
Yeah.
debate, do they start with Ruben Love or does D-Mac come in for the decider?
I personally would put Ruben. Who's the natural 10? Flicky, you can answer this. Because you got 2 guys that are full 10s and fullbacks.
Yeah, well, Ruben Love he's a fly-off.
He's played fullback also.
Yeah, but they kind of use him at fullback, but he's a 10.
I'd play Ruben Love.
Yeah, look, so I mean, let's learn something from Rassie and his management team. We struggled at Eden Park, and then we chose a completely new team the next weekend.
Yeah.
We put young guys in, Sacha at 10, whatever the case may be, and we all sat here going, "Yes, you know, while he's struggling, maybe the conservative route is to select a Pollard and, you know, just keep battering away to get some confidence." So,
I was in
you know, what the natural thing would be is that you go, no, let's choose D-Mac, you know, at 10.
Yeah,
and then
it's a safe
go
option.
the safe option. But South Africa chose Sacha, and look at the results of the last 2 weeks. Not just him alone, but they made that bold decision. So maybe, you know, New Zealand need to make that bold decision and bring in Ruben Love to change the picture.
Yeah, I think what talking about the Springboks, what I enjoy about the Wellington team, it's a team that will take the game to the opposition.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I understand that the whole selection around test match rugby and whatever, but with Sacha, you're guaranteed if the gap is there, the holes there, he's going to accelerate.
Yeah.
Willemse will have a go.
Yeah.
The outlook first is to let's have a go. Let's put these guys under pressure, which is certainly working for us.
And almost you don't come with baggage.
yeah,
You know, it's that naivety of the youngster. You just want to play and
yeah,
play what's in front of you, have a go. And sometimes that's the way to do it. Now you will mature more into it. Your decision making will get better, but never lose kind of that
instinct.
that instinct, which I think sometimes gets coached out of our players.
100%.
You know? So, a quick word on Joe Schmidt. He's done amazing in turning this team around. You know, 12 months ago, we certainly didn't see that happening. Was it also due to the personnel that he now has, guys that he can bring from overseas? If you think Skelton, James O'Connor, a couple of others, they've made a big difference.
I think it's a combination. I certainly think that Joe Schmidt has changed that whole Australian outfit already from last year. So they've already been a better team over time with him. But having those players at his disposal makes him a better team and a much better team. So I think, you know, he's going to be sorely missed in that Australian setup. But those players coming back from Europe, playing, you know, for Australia is going to make a massive difference going forward.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting take, Sean. I don't know how much time we got, but I mean,
No, we've got none
we're-
left. But please give us.
But
your
they're saying that
opinion.
it makes the players less valuable to go overseas now because they can get selected by the Wallabies. So a
Yeah.
French club now thinking, I had this guy for the whole season. Now all of a sudden, look, if this guy shoots the lights out,
Yeah.
he might go back to Australia. So now it changes the dynamic of the contracting with the players, which I never thought about. So at Korean Betty now, you Toulouse coach, you sign in Korean Betty, for example. I've got him the whole season, cannot play for his country again. All of a sudden you sign him and he says, listen, I'll play for you guys, but I still want to be available for the Wallabies. Okay, we'll cut that contract down a bit. He turns around and says, look, I'd rather stay in flipping Melbourne. It does change the dynamic around there.
does.
But I'll just back on Joe Schmidt. I think a world-class coach, a coach that can make a difference.
Huge.
Amazing what he did with Irish rugby, sort of a rebuild with Australian rugby, considering where they came from. But there's been growth. Fraser McWright all of a sudden. Wilson, this Nick, is it?
Cooper.
No, sorry, Frost. Nick Frost?
Nick Frost,
The,
yeah,
the
the
lock.
lock.
Yeah.
Contesting lock, good in the lineouts. You know, Tate McDermott, the influence he's had.
Yep.
You know, the two centers, Ikatau,
Yep.
Swahili, you know.
Jorgensen.
Yeah, Jorgensen, Tom Wright.
Swahili.
The other flank
Tool,
is
yeah.
it Tom Hooper.
Tom Hooper, the
Yeah.
big boy, he's gone to Exeter. Ikatau has also gone to Exeter. But they'll learn a lot from overseas
Yeah.
there. But you remember, Australia's a long way. Sorry, England's a long way
From Australia.
Australia. It's different here, whereas here, it's an overnight flight. There, it's a different story.
Yeah. Cool, guys. That's all we've got time for, unfortunately. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we see a big performance from the Boks and a similar performance from the Boks this weekend?
Yes.
Fantastic. It's all I want to hear. That's all we've got time for, guys. Please join us on Friday for Boks Unpacked, where we will be unpacking what we think will happen with the Boks on the weekend. It'll be huge. We're in the fight at Twickenham. The Boks, hopefully next week. This time, we can celebrate a South African victory. Cheers.